Hello and welcome to another edition of Overtime on the Memphis Tiger Network. I'm Jeff Brightwell on the Anthony Penny Hardaway Hall of Fame on the University of Memphis campus. Both men's and women's basketball teams wrapped up their regular season. Rifle adds another All-American. Men's tennis knocks off a ranked opponent. Softball goes 3-0 to open up Conference USA play. And there's so much more to talk about, so let's go ahead and get started. It was senior day for men's basketball at FedEx Forum on Saturday morning as the Tigers honored Charles Holt, Stan Simpson, Farrakhan Hall, and DJ Stephens. All four of these seniors made great contributions to the University of Memphis program over their career. Seniors celebrated their final game in FedEx Forum with a dominant win over UAB, 86-71, to cap off an undefeated regular season in Conference USA. DJ Stephens got right into his high-flying ways early in the game, and the Tigers built up a 15-point lead at half thanks to 14 points from Jaron Johnson and 12 team steals. In the second half, UAB cut the Memphis lead to just 1 point before Joe Jackson and Stephens combined to put together an 8-point run to put Memphis up 53-45, and the Tigers never looked back, cruising to the 15-point win. The win capped off a perfect Conference USA season and marks only the 5th time in program history that Memphis has finished undefeated in league play. Memphis closed out the season with 27 wins, Pastor's best season since becoming the Tigers head coach. Tigers now get set to travel to Tulsa for this week's Conference USA tournament. Women's basketball also celebrated its senior week last Thursday with Jamila Ajanaku and Nicole Dixon playing in their final game at the Elbert Rowan Fieldhouse, taking on Marshall. And like the men, the seniors went out on a high note, avenging a loss to the Herd earlier this year with a 63-53 win. Memphis jumped out to an early 27-point lead thanks to a pair of quick runs as the defensive effort had held Marshall at just 22 in the first half, and the Tigers took that 40-22 lead into the break. Marshall made a run at a comeback in the second half, cutting the deficit to 4 with an 8-0 run late in the half, but Memphis held off the Herd thanks to a jumper from Ariel Hearn and Bilquis Abdul-Qadir going 4 for 4 from the charity stripe to seal a 63-53 win. Tigers finish off the regular season at 17-13 overall and 8-8 in Conference USA play. This week only got better for Nicole Dixon and Ariel Hearn as both were named All-Conference, with Dixon being named first team. Ariel Hearn was named All-Freshman after finishing her campaign, averaging 13.5 points per ball game. Dixon was also named CollegeSportsMatters.com Conference USA Player of the Year Saturday and became the first player in program history to earn Conference USA Player of the Week 4 times in a season. She was also named to her second straight All-Conference team, first time she has been on the first team, and Memphis starts Conference USA play Wednesday in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Men's tennis team picked up its biggest win of the season, knocking off 23rd ranked Cornell on the road Sunday. Memphis started out on the wrong end of the double decision, falling in 2 of the 3 matches to give Cornell a 1-0 lead heading into singles. But Connor Glennon and Joe Salisbury put Memphis on the board, picking up big wins at the number 1 and number 2 spots. Glennon winning 6-3, 6-2, Salisbury 6-1, 6-4. David O'Hare picked up a 6-2, 7-5 win at the number 6 spot to put Memphis up 3-1, but Cornell stormed back, winning at 4-5 before Lucas Verdak sealed the win at the number 3 spot. The win marks the second highest ranked opponent victory in program history. Memphis now heads to San Diego, California for the San Diego tournament. In rifle, junior Dan Hermsmeier completed in his 3rd NCAA Rifle Championship this weekend, finishing 14th in the field of 46. Hermsmeier was then named first-team All-American in both air rifle and small bore at the NCAA Rifle Awards ceremony Saturday night after the competition. In his second first-team honors, his 3rd straight All-American honors. That wasn't all for Hermsmeier. He has also been selected as a member of the USA Olympic Developmental Team for the 2016 Olympics. In softball, Natalie Poole's Tigers got off to a great start with a 3-0 sweep at UTEP over the weekend. In Game 1, the Tigers won 5-1. They got 4 runs in the second inning. That held up Ellen Roberts through a complete game, striking out 7. Game 2 of the series saw Memphis beat the Miners 4-2. Jordan Ridgewood threw a complete game as she struck out 8. In Game 3, Memphis edged UTEP 6-5. The Tigers got 4 runs in the 5th, only to see UTEP answer with 4 in the bottom of the 6th. but the Tigers get 2 in the 7th for the win. Jordan Richwood gets the win in the relief for the Tigers. Memphis will host Missouri State today at 2 o'clock, and they'll host Tulsa this weekend in Conference USA action. Moving over to FedEx Park over the weekend, the Tigers took 2 of 3 from the Buffalo Bulls out of the back. On Friday night, the Tigers got 7 runs in the 5th inning, highlighted by a Bryce Beeler 3-run double that opened the ball game up for the 7-4 win. Memphis then played a doubleheader on Saturday afternoon. In Game 1, Eric Schoenrock threw a complete game, striking out 6 with a 9-1 win. But Buffalo rallied in Game 2 of the doubleheader, scoring 5 runs over the final 2 innings to salvage Game 3 by a score of 9-8. Memphis travels to Alabama tonight for a 2-game series with the Crimson Tide. They'll wrap it up tomorrow night in Tuscaloosa. They return home this weekend to host Kent State at FedEx Park. Kent State, of course, a participant in last year's College World Series. Sticking with women's tennis, the 25th ranked Lady Tiger women's tennis team swept St. Louis and Murray State over the weekend. Memphis is now 10-4 on the season.
I'm really proud of the girls. Doubleheaders are not easy, and it doesn't matter who you play. It's a lot of tennis. We've been on the court like 7 and 8 hours today. So it took a lot out of them, but I do think they were able to stay focused and improve, and anytime you can get wins and get better at the same time, it's good. But a much needed break coming up right now, and I've been telling the girls all week, this is kind of like the end of the first half. We call this like our halftime of the season, so I want them to get a nice break these next couple days.
Lady Tigers will get the spring break week off before returning on the 16th to host Illinois State. Well, as we told you, men's and women's basketball won both of their senior day games heading into Conference USA tournament play. So let's go ahead and preview the conference tournament, starting off with the women's bracket that will get underway Wednesday at the Convention Center in Tulsa, Oklahoma. It will start off on Wednesday at 11 a.m. It'll be the 8-9 game between 8-seeded UCF and 9-seed Houston. Then at 1:30, it'll be 5th-seeded UTEP and the 12-seed Marshall Thundering Herd. Moving to the evening session at 5 o'clock, 6-seed Tulsa, the host team, will face number 11 Rice. And then the Memphis Tigers, coming in at the number 7 seed, will host 10-seed Southern Miss. That will be a 7:30 game again at the Convention Center Wednesday night. Memphis swept Southern Miss this season, including an overtime win in Hattiesburg. Moving on to Thursday, the teams with the byes include top-seeded SMU. They'll play at 11 a.m. Then the 6th seed, game number 6 rather, will host number 4 seed UAB at 1:30. The 3rd seed Tulane will play at 5 o'clock. And then number 2 East Carolina will wait the winner of Southern Miss and Memphis. The tournament then moves Friday at 10 a.m. starting at the BOK Center. The women's championship will be at 7 o'clock on Saturday evening. Moving over to the men's championship, which features just 11 teams this year. And it starts off Wednesday afternoon at 3:30. All these games of the men's tournament will be at the BOK Center. 7th-seeded UAB faces 10-seed SMU at 3:30. At 6 o'clock, it'll be number 6 Houston and number 11 Rice. Then number 8 Tulane will face number 9 Marshall at 8:30. A full day of action on Thursday beginning at noon, as number 2 Southern Miss will face either UAB or SMU at noon. At the 3 seed, it'll be UTEP facing either Houston or Rice at 2:30. The top seed, Memphis Tigers, will face either Tulane or Marshall. That'll be a 6 o'clock start on Thursday evening. Memphis beat Tulane once this year. They swept Marshall, including a 1-point win at home. Then the nightcap will be number 5 Tulsa, the host team. They will face number 4 East Carolina. The semis for the men will be at 3 o'clock and 5:30 on Friday. The men's championship at 10:35 Saturday morning at the BOK Center. Don't forget, you can watch all kind of great action on the Memphis Tiger Network YouTube page. Just go to YouTube and search the Memphis Tiger Network. You can also like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter for all the official information, stats, and releases. You can go to GoTigersGo.com. That'll do it for another edition of Overtime. Until next week, I'm Jeff Brightwell.